Hi everyone, this is Veroosh. Welcome to my channel. This is the second part of a two-part follow-up for Venus retrograde. In the first part, we talked more about what Venus retrograde is, what the morning star is, and some of the special features of this transit in 2025. We focused on the three-part conjunction with 4 different points in your chart. So if you want to know more about Venus retrograde and morning star, check out the first video. In this video, I'm going to explain to you some of the deeper interconnections for Venus retrograde this year. Namely, I'm going to show you how these conjunctions are connected to special conjunctions, unprecedented special conjunctions in 2024 and 2022. I'll also explain why this emergence is so special and what it could mean for us. So Venus emerging as the morning star at 27 degrees of Pisces is incredibly special. This is because Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces, but the 27th degree specifically is her special position. It's her exalted degree. This has only happened a handful of times in human history. In 469 BCE, that's before the Common Era or before BC in older traditions, 485 BCE, 477 BCE, 226 BCE, and then in the Common Era in 25 CE, 276, 519, 527, 770, 774, 778, and I'll explain that in just a minute. 1021, 1029, 1272, 1280, 1531, 1774, and that's also a very important date, 1782, 2025, and 2033. So even though I listed a lot of dates for all of human history, at least since 500 BCE, it isn't that many moments. And as I explained to you in greater detail, you will see why this emergence is very special. So Venus retrograde happens in 5 points at any given time. This is called the Venus pentagram, and this pentagram consists of 5 nodes that slowly drift through each sign over a period of 100 years. This means that any given node on the Venus pentagram returns back to center in about 1200 years, so 1200 years. This means that the last time that we had conjunctions with this node in this position was 1200 years ago. This is the 8th century. In 770 CE, 774 CE, and 778 CE, we had the same position for these conjunctions, as well as the same node of the pentagram returned back to center. These are the only times in which this return happened in human history. The previous one probably was sometime before the 6th century BCE. So it's only happened 2 times one time in modern history. What becomes even more rare is that the same position with the North Node only happened 2 times in human history. Once in 469 BCE, that's negative 469 BCE, and the second time was 778 CE, Common Era, at about 24 or 25 degrees. At this point, Venus emerged from the underground in the 24th or 25th degree conjunct the North Node. I could not find any other times in human history when the North Node was co-present with Venus emerging in the last degrees of Pisces. This means that only in 778 CE, the Common Era, the Middle Ages, Venus emerged in the same point and the same node alongside the North Node, which is very significant, and at no other time she emerged in this position with the same energetics around it. I also wanted to mention 1774 CE, Common Era. Venus emerged at the 27th degree, and this was the only time that I found that she emerged at that degree within a reasonable amount of human history, which is interesting because we are seeing many other similarities to the 18th century now, namely the eclipses in Aries have been echoing the eclipses during the 18th century, during the American Revolution. And also, it is the sidereal Pluto return right now, which means that Pluto is in the same sidereal position it was when the Declaration of Independence was signed. So, sidereal means that without precession, Pluto is in the same astronomical space that it was 250 years ago. And so we are getting this convergence of similarity, the Venus emerging in the same degree, 27th degree of Pisces, which is also unparalleled. And then at the same time, we're getting these other mirrors or echoes of the 18th century through the eclipse series in Aries, as well as the Pluto return to its sidereal position in the 18th century. So it's interesting that we are experiencing a massive stellium or syzygy on April 25th, 2025, between Venus, Saturn, North Node, and the Moon. This is because in 2022, we experienced an unprecedented conjunction in Pisces between the Moon, Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter. This was a once in a humanity conjunction. And at the time that it happened, I told you that I thought that a birth of a holy person may be happening conjunct this position. This is because Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter join together in the 27th degree of Pisces. So it's very rare for Jupiter and Venus to join together in this degree, the 27th, 26th degree. What's even more rare is if Neptune is in the picture. But if we add the moon, it adds even another layer of complexity, which makes it far rarer and far harder to find. And just to remind you of the significance, the 27th degree is where Venus emerges as her exalted position. And in 2025, she emerges here as the morning star. And this is a very sacred degree, 27th degree of Pisces for Venus. This is her most powerful degree. On April 30th, Jupiter moved up in Pisces, April 30th, 2022. And Jupiter and Venus formed a conjunction in Pisces at exactly the 27th degree. This was also very special because the Jupiter-Venus conjunction only happened 5 times in human history. At the same time as this was going on, we had the new moon eclipse in Taurus. So this is also very rare that this conjunction happened in the 27th degree, and an eclipse happened at 10 degrees of Taurus, which is also a sacred area of the sky. So to put it in perspective, the time period between late April and early May 2022 saw a lot of activity that mirrors this energy now. You may want to go back and review what happened and see if there's a connection to events that are transpiring now. I do stand by the observation that a holy person or a special person may be coming in or being born at this time. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I'm all for it that someone comes to elevate all of us and bring us hope and wonderful things, lucky charms. So if you look back to 2024, you will see a Venus-Neptune conjunction at 28 degrees of Pisces. This is very normal and a part of a regular planetary cycle that Venus forms with all of the planets. But you may look back to April 3rd, 2024 to see if anything that's happening now has a reference to it. So on April 25th, 2025, we are going to see this final massive conjunction between Saturn, North Node, Moon, and Venus, and Neptune over in Aries. We are not going to see another conjunction between Venus and Neptune until 2176, so it's long after our time. And in 2187, there will be the next conjunction at 27 degrees of Pisces. However, it does look as though 27 degrees of Pisces has been echoing in the astrology in recent years, but also over time, looking back to the 8th century. Or, excuse me, not the 8th century. Well, 8th century, but also the 18th century. The next time Venus and Jupiter join together in Pisces, remember Jupiter is the other ruler of the Pisces sign, is 2034, February 22nd. So it's going to be a while before we get any interaction of Venus and one of the other rulers of Pisces together in the sign. These conjunctions with Venus have been unprecedented. Just to stress, Jupiter, Neptune are rulers of the sign, and Venus is exalted in the sign. So the fact that they joined together in 2022 and now again have a series of interactions in 2025 marks some kind of special event that may be happening in your life. So I wish you all the best. I wanted to highlight this, and we'll do a tarot card reading in the description. Take care. See you soon. Bye.